Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's always such a pleasure to be here and feel so welcomed by you and accepted by you, which is a timely feeling because our topic this month is acceptance. So thanks for already practicing what I'm about to preach. Acceptance, among its many definitions, is the act of willingly receiving something offered. Willingly receiving something offered, as in accepting a gift. And we can extend that definition to our spiritual lives. Well, there's really no separation between our spiritual lives and our lives, so let's just say that when we extend that definition to life, the one way of defining acceptance is willingly receiving the gifts God offers us. Willingly receiving the gifts God offers us in every moment. And with that definition in mind, here's a little story about acceptance. So when I was a kid, my family had a way of exchanging Christmas gifts that would drive me crazy. And now I appreciate it, but then I hated it because we would give and unwrap each gift under the tree one at a time so that everyone could watch. And there'd be a bunch of us, like aunts and uncles and grandparents, so it was a painfully slow process. Each exchange was very intentional, and everyone's attention had to be on that moment. There was nothing else happening in the world, or else you'd get in trouble. So, each exchange would start by the giver proudly offering their gift. And the recipient, directly facing the giver, would open their hands, ready and willing to receive. And the giver would gently place the gift in the recipient's hands. Now next, the recipient would not just rip open the gift, as I always wanted to do, but they'd actually spend some time admiring the wrapping and complimenting the giver on their wrapping technique, like, how did you get those corners so nice together and crisp, and And then they'd slowly and carefully unwrap the gift, and then they'd sit with the gift for a few moments, oohing and ahhing all over it, and just, talking about how wonderful texture of it, or the color, or the smell of it. And then, just when you'd think they were done, they'd pass it around for everybody else to ooh and ah over. Everyone had to see it. And then when the gift would finally come back around, the recipient would say to the giver, "Thank you so much, it's perfect, I love it." And they'd hug the giver, and the giver would just beam. And this would happen with every single gift. So you can imagine why it drove me crazy, because all I want to do is rip it open and get my new Star Wars action figures and run out of the room and play. No patience. And when the few times I was able to do that, my mom would scream after me, "Well, you're welcome, Andrew." But now I get it. We still do it, and honestly, it drives me a little crazy sometimes. But I do think it's a great model for acceptance, for receiving the gifts God offers us in every moment. Because it's doing a bunch of things for us as receivers, as acceptors. It's helping us to slow down so we can be totally in the moment with the giver and the gift. It becomes a connected and sacred moment. After we get present, we can start to see and recognize the gift better and begin to really appreciate it. And we learn that we don't have to know what the gift is right away. We can sit with the mystery of it, the unwrapped potential of it, trusting that the giver, who knows us and loves us, wouldn't just give us an empty box, that there's something to it, even if we can't just see it yet. And when we find the joy in slowly discovering the gift and appreciating it from all angles, and seeing that when we share our gift with others, others can appreciate it too. And then in our expression of gratitude, we help the giver feel given to also, so everyone benefits. And we also experience that the thing that's given itself isn't the only special thing, but how we accept the gift is also a gift. Now imagine if we were able to receive and share all the gifts God offers us in every moment in this way. I think our lives would be so much richer. The world would be such a better place. But we're not quite there yet, are we? Because in our super busy, multitasking, status-conscious, anxiety-ridden, more, now lives, it's so hard to make time and space to even receive the gift of our Starbucks order with awareness and appreciation. Sometimes we really have to make a conscious effort to slow down and actually look for the gifts, for the good stuff all around us. And it's so helpful if we can take a moment to step out of our usual routine, to reconnect with Spirit, to sanctify the present, and wake from our dream of the ordinary to the reality of the extraordinary that God is always offering us. God is always expressing through us, and as everything around us. But instead of seeing that and accepting that, and all the divine gifts always available to us, we can often feel depleted or cheated, or that others have more of something that we should have too. So what do we do? I mean, the first thing to do is to stop looking at Facebook, because to me, that's the mother of all comparisons. I don't know. But I also have a practice that I'd like to share with you in a moment that I find helpful in exercising my acceptance muscles. And acceptance, seeing and receiving our divine gifts, is a muscle that needs to be exercised because we do live in a world that's constantly telling us that we don't have enough, or that we're not enough, or that the divine gifts available to us are really just this new deodorant. So we need to have regular practices and community like this one to help us remember our divine nature, to help us to see all the gifts that Spirit offers and wants for us to have and wants to express through us. You may recognize this New Thought principle that says, we affirm the unity of God and humanity in that the divine nature dwells within and expresses through each of us by means of our acceptance of it as health, supply, wisdom, love, life, truth, power, beauty, and peace. And those are some incredible gifts that are available to us right here, right now, by means of our acceptance of our divine nature. When we remember who we really are, God expressing through us as us, and accept that, open ourselves to the ultimate giver and that ultimate gift, we're able to recognize, to have, and to share all the many divine gifts that are right in front of us all the time that maybe we're too distracted or disheartened to see. So, I'd like to invite you to do this quick acceptance practice with me. And don't worry, we'll do it as we are in our seats, no cartwheels just yet. So for the moment, I invite you to get comfortable and grounded, just as we did with the meditation. But this time, keep your eyes open and attentive. Or if you have challenges with vision, you can do this with any other sense. But if you're willing and able, just please keep your eyes open now. Let's take a deep breath in together and exhale. And again. And exhale. And one more. And exhale. Now, I invite you to just slowly look around the room. Just start looking around the room and take in everything you see. Everything above you or below you, to your left or to your right. Maybe even what's behind you. Just slowly look around. And as you're doing that, in your mind, ask yourself this question. What are the gifts I see before me? What are the gifts I see before me? What do I see that's especially meaningful or beautiful or interesting or comforting? And it can be something or someone in this room or out through the windows. What are the gifts I see before me? And now, let your eyes rest upon one of those gifts. Just choose something and sit with it. Look at it. Really take it in. Take in everything about it. The shape, the colors. Really be with it. All the details. And notice even how you're feeling. How is that something or someone a gift to you right here, right now? Just take a moment. And once you feel like you've received a good dose of that something or someone, and still keeping your eyes on it, take a deep breath. Exhale. And this is really important. Say a mental thank you to that gift. And return your attention back to me, please. Thank you for doing that with me. I like this practice because it's so simple. And you can do it while sitting at a traffic light or waiting for your Starbucks order or walking down the street. And it reminds me of the Christmas gift exchange in that it helps me to get present and to give my attention to the giver, with a big G, to look for and become aware of gifts being offered that I might be overlooking, to open myself, to willingly receive, to accept, and appreciate what I might be taking for granted. And that's whether in what I'm literally seeing before me or what's in my relationships. What are some gifts in my relationships that I might be overlooking, or in my life in general, in circumstances? What's especially meaningful or beautiful or comforting or interesting in my life? And practicing this helps me exercise a positive and open outlook, a receptive and trusting and accepting posture as I go through my life. Now, keeping an accepting posture like this can be challenging enough when things in life are going well. And when things aren't going well, we just may not be able to see the gifts in front of us anywhere, no matter how hard we try. There may be nothing that we want to see, that want to accept, or want to willingly receive. I mean, who willingly receives hard stuff like addiction, or failed relationships, or the loss of a loved one? Those things can be all-consuming and can cloud our vision from any gifts. We can lose sight of the health that we do have, the supply that we do have, the wisdom, the life, the love, the truth, the power, the beauty, the peace. And so in those moments, acceptance may not be about seeing and receiving the gifts God is offering us, but instead just working to stay open and trusting that gifts will be revealed later. According to Jenny Whitelaw in her book, The Zen Leader, acceptance is always the first light of transformative energy. Acceptance doesn't mean we have to like what we're dealing with. It means we don't get stuck in whether we like it or not. We simply work with it. And as soon as acceptance starts working, it opens up the possibility of further transformation, unquote. Now, simply working with what we're dealing with is often not so simple, and it can often take a while. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief model starts with denial, no gifts, and ends with acceptance, but not without a journey that may take years and even loop back upon itself many times. My father died unexpectedly 5 years ago, and I'm still on my acceptance journey. Thankfully, I'm pretty far along. But there's still times when I just can't believe that he's gone. I don't like it, and I never will. And yet I've chosen to work with it. I knew I had to accept it, or I'd be as paralyzed in denial now as I was when I first got the news of his death. And with support and time, some gifts started to reveal themselves. God didn't give me an empty box, after all. The gifts I'm now able to have in my father's death are that he didn't suffer. His life ended quickly and painlessly. It brought my brother and I closer together. And I've come to see that I haven't really lost my dad or his love. I still feel him and his love, just in a different way now, which has given me hope about my own death. And that's a gift. And since accepting my dad's death, I've been able to give support to friends who have also lost loved ones, to console them, to share the gifts that I've received in the process. And that's a gift. When we slow down, get present, and allow ourselves to really see, even in moments of great pain, all of what is in front of us, gifts can eventually reveal themselves in unexpected ways. Actually, I want to say that differently, because it's not that gifts are revealed as if Spirit is whisking away some tablecloth like a magician. No, all the stuff of our lives, what we're seeing in front of us, what we're dealing with, doesn't become more special or divine necessarily, because it already is. It's not what's seen, but it's the seer who changes. We change. We start to see things in front of us with different eyes, with divine eyes. We raise our veils to see things that in the way that they're really meant to be seen, abundant and resplendent with Spirit. Which is how Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh writes about acceptance in his poem, Our True Heritage. The cosmos is filled with precious gems. I want to offer a handful of them to you this morning. Each moment you are alive is a gem, shining through and containing earth and sky, water and clouds. It needs you to breathe gently for the miracles to be displayed. And suddenly, you hear the birds singing, the pines chanting, see the flowers blooming, the blue sky, the white clouds, the smile and the marvelous look of your beloved. You, the richest person on earth, who have been going around begging for a living, stop being the destitute child. Come back and claim your heritage. We should enjoy our happiness and offer it to everyone. Cherish this very moment. Let go of the stream of distress and embrace life fully in your arms. Isn't that lovely? Come back and claim your divine heritage. Slow down and cherish this very moment. Open your eyes and embrace life fully in your arms. This week, try the practice we just did. Get present, look around, and ask yourself, what are the gifts I see before me? And I believe the more you practice that with awareness and appreciation, the more you'll be able to see, and the more you'll be able to embrace fully, willingly receive, and accept all the gifts God offers us in every moment. And so it is.